One is an Zoloto.
And one is a guppy.
Welcome to
Mizu no Naka Radio!
Wee Pachi Pachi.
Hey! Wah! This program is brought to you by Blue Moon, a personal group that is managing all of Axel Axotis' activity with the help of our dear friend fish, me, Syazu!
Yes, the purpose of this program is to gather and introduce Malaysian Vtubers who are very talented in the scene for people to learn more about them, Vtubers and fans alike.
The program, Mizu no Naka Radio, will be an offline content and each episode will be up monthly, every last Wednesday of the month on Axel Axotis' YouTube channel at 9 p.m. Malaysia time.
So if you have any VTubers you would like to see appear in this show or would like to keep updated with the news, feel free to check on the description for links related to it. So, hi everyone, I'm your lost axolotl boy, Axel Axotis. I am one of the hosts of this radio show. Nice to meet you!
Nice to meet you, Axel!
Wee!
Fourth episode already, but nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Okay, boleh juga.
Hi, human on the outside, fish on the inside. My name is Syazu. Nice to meet you. I'm the co-host of this radio show.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so following the insightful episodes with the legendary Malaysian VTuber Apex Demon last month, we're back again this month with a new episode for the show. I hope everyone was able to watch Apex episode and learn a lot of things from him, especially regarding organizing events and collaborations with other VTubers.
And in this episode, we invited another amazing Malaysian VTuber to introduce to you guys. I bet a lot of you guys are familiar with this person. Do welcome our guest for this episode.
Shai!
You know, I might like make your eardrums go melutup. So, hai kawanku, saya Punyulada. And that's practically my intro line.
That is cute. So there's only one line. You don't have like,
How do I say this? That is like practically like my, because you know the thing is I don't really consider myself an idol VTuber, so I would already say that right off the bat. That's not really how I do things, but you know, it's the closest thing I have to like this tagline thing. But when it comes to introducing myself, I just say I do a little bit of everything. And I'd rather let people find out for themselves what that little bit of everything is. But you know, it's a bit like I'm not too concerned about being the best in something. You know, it's more of I want to get new experiences and I always want to try, no matter how bad I am at it. Because the important part for me is that I tried and I don't regret it.
True.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess what I want to do with the way that I approach my VTubing, the closest thing I have to an introduction is I'm a person who's trying a little bit of everything and I want everyone to join me in that journey.
Interesting.
I mean, I have to agree with that. I see VTubing as a way to grow our potential. To dive and delve into these skills, these portion of skills that we don't normally use in our daily lives. And I think that's something very commendable, yeah.
I completely agree with that because, you know, even without like the lore of being like sea creatures, I mean, especially for me, it's like, apa lo? Boleh makan? Like, is it something I could eat? But
yeah.
No, but you know, in all seriousness, lore is fun and everything. But you know, I always feel like VTubing first and foremost is it's a way to creatively express yourself rather than just because you're VTubing you need to like do this like punya like menyanyi or like, you know, to like play games or whatever. It's like VTubing could be anything you want it to be. You just need to use a virtual avatar and you need to do some form of content. It's like I'm not gonna be the kind of person who gatekeeps punya like you know like mastila you stream on like YouTube or whatever, or you're not like a real VTuber. Like no, for me it's like okay, you do stuff with like a virtual avatar and an OC, and you know, no matter how unpopular it is, no matter if you're literally the only person playing that game, then you are a VTuber to me.
Yes. True. As long as you do contents online and you have your own like character to represent yourself, then you can be a VTuber.
Exactly. And if I could, you know, go into that as well, like I think that's part of the reason why although I wouldn't exactly call myself, you know, just a dedicated supporter, but the reason why it's very precious for me to, you know, support especially like a local community like the Malaysian VTuber community Well, I do some support also for the rest of like Southeast Asia VTubers if I can. But it's a bit hard for me to balance everything. But I think it's because of the diversity that we have in terms of the content we do. Like you and Syazu have this radio show and do these covers for. They're not exactly like idolu in the sense of how do I say this? Like the big corporations, but I would say that it is like I've already said this in a way, but there are people whose approach to VTubing is more like a love letter, or like you could tell they are idol fans first and foremost, not people who want to be idols necessarily. And I think that's beautiful. And there's also people who they want to show their skill playing a game with the rest of the world. There's people like Apex, your guest for the previous episode, who really excels at organizing events. And I would say that it is not easy to organize events like that. And then there are other people who just want to use the VTubing platform to, they just want to share some games or some music that is not so popular. So for me, it's the fact that people don't really try to just do or like think of VTubing as one thing in this community. And it's like the joy of being able to explore that, oh my gosh, this person likes card games. Oh, this person is fond of, for example, like they have this niche hobby. Like, just as an example, you have a person who's very interested in like, traditional, like baju traditional kind of stuff, traditional outfit. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And for me, it's really more of, I just want to be that kind of person where it's like, it doesn't matter how small you are or if you're starting out, I will give you a chance and I will check what you're doing at least once.
That is something that I really like admire you able to do that, because you have a real-time job, and from what I know, not real-time job, real life IRL, real life work. And your work is pretty demanding. Yeah, so the fact that you're able to like go and carefully watch almost everyone's content and able to give this like super detailed feedback to it is really impressive. Because I also have a work, like a full-time work, and my work is also pretty demanding. And because of that, I wasn't able to like even drop by my friend's stream even for a little bit. I can just go and say hi, and then I would go lurk, and I cannot like just consume the contents properly because of that. So I really like amazed that you are able to do this and able to keep doing this for very long time.
It's like some point, I want to at least try to be consistent, but if there's one thing that I have to say about that, I do not fault people for not being able to check out their friends. I think it's something important that, newer VTubers, or at least VTubers who kind of rely on their friends to support them. I think it's important for them to know that if you're in a community and like, everyone else is also streaming, I think it's kind of unfair to like expect people to watch you all the time, especially if that person is also a streamer themselves. Because like you mentioned, like with our responsibilities outside of content creation, we get very busy and it's hard to actually pay attention to this. So if I could like share the way that I'm able to do it, I'm the kind of person who, when I'm at work, I am strictly on work mode. So I focus only on work. It's for this reason that I don't put my social media apps on my work phone. But when I'm off work, that's the time that I get to check everyone else. So I might be like, while I'm cooking my food, or while I'm trying to rest, like I'm laying down and my eyes are closed. Sometimes that's when I focus on listening to song covers, or like, at least for example, like for the radio show, I have actually watched it with your visuals, but I think at least for like the second episode, I really did try my best to just take the opportunity of, okay, I'm lying down, so I could close my eyes and listen to how Axel and Syazu bounce off each other. Because a radio show, is more effective if, it still works and it's still engaging without the visuals. So it's about like me finding the time and the right kind of content to consume with that free time. And that's also the reason why I can't be too consistent, or like, like consistently promoting like only this specific VTuber. Because for me, like I feel like it's slightly better if I at least check everyone out at least once and give everyone a chance rather than just promoting the same people over and over.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you're able to get the how do I say this the thing that you said about this radio show. I'm glad that you're able to capture the thing that I want, the essence that I want to convey, because I have feedbacks from other people as well about this radio show, and people tell me that I should add more editing to the visuals and stuff. But the thing is, I want people to focus on what we're talking about, not the visuals.
Buddy, it's radio, okay? You're not supposed to depend on the visual.
Yeah, right? This is the reason why I didn't put that much effort into editing the video. I just leave it as it is and just cut off things that might not be necessary, or a super long pause between us and stuff like that. And the only thing I add is the questions into the screen. But I try my best to leave it as it is because this is a radio show.
Yeah, exactly. You have to consider that for example, I do notice that, most of the edits that I see are just for pacing. Like you mentioned, just to remove long pauses. And I mean, that's the entire point of a radio show in the first place. It's audio first. I want people to understand at least that when it comes to a radio show. And I don't know if this is the same thing that you guys think, but radio shows are more similar to podcasts. You don't watch the visuals when you listen to podcasts, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think it's fine. I could understand where people are coming from when they say, "Oh, you need to you make the make the video more chantik," but the effects doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
The visual effects don't matter as much compared to the content or the variety of guests that you invite. And I think you guys did pretty well with the range of people that you invited. Prior to me, Apex is more of an event organizer. You had Cornelia Asahi is affiliated with Amber Glow and stuff like that. And I'm pretty positive about the rest of the guests that you guys are going to select will be somewhat representative of the not only the diversity but the range of talent that the Malaysian VTuber community has to offer.
All right, Axel, that's all on your shoulders, buddy. Good luck.
Okay. Okay. Alright, okay. Oh, before we move on to the next session, I was kind of curious. Is that your alternate outfit? Because I remember your PNG that you submitted to us is a little bit different.
Oh yeah. Actually, the PNG that I submitted right now is only a PNG tuber for now. That's kind of the funny part where it's how people start as PNG tuber first, and then they move on to maybe 3D, Vroid model punya, and then live 2D. But this is actually my 2.0 outfit, and the PNG that I sent you guys, which I do use as my PNG tuber for now, is actually my 4.0.
Oh, so it's the latest one.
Yes, the PNG is the latest one, but I just feel bad where it's both of you guys are moving and then I'm just frozen like that. I do have a bit of an inside joke with one of my very close friends where he was a PNG tuber for quite a while, and then by the time that he started to use his live 2D model, when he got his VTuber model rigged, that's the time I started using my PNG tuber model. So we have a running joke of he was frozen, now he can move. Now I was frozen to give him movement.
Equivalent exchange.
Equivalent exchange, exactly. But the thing is, don't worry, this will be rigged eventually. I mean, that design will be rigged eventually. It's just that I don't want to pressure any artists or riggers to oh my god, hurry up. It's I don't want to be that tak sabar kind of person.
Yeah.
Did you have a rigger already? For the
Yes.
4.0?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that's another thing that I want to bring up also is, a lot of people also get scared of trying to do VTubing because they're oh no, I need to have a live 2D immediately, or they feel if they have a live 2D, they can't go back to being a PNG tuber. And I'm no, not really. I mean, I'd rather promote people, getting the model slowly rather than getting into debt because I've heard of that happening, or like feeling this fear of missing out, like, oh my god, all my friends already like ada pun like live 2D, now I need to get live 2D too. I'm like, no, you are fine just being the way you are, whether you're a PNG tuber or GIF tuber or 3D model. Because
Like,
like
if you don't,
Mhm.
if you don't even have a model and you want to make content, just make content anyway. Who cares? Make content, everybody.
Exactly, like how, especially in the old days because I've been doing a lot of quote unquote content for maybe over a decade now, and we started out not having models because our internet connection was too bad for that.
Yes. True.
It was really more of like we didn't have the computers, we didn't have the internet connection, and we didn't really have these resources. Like, I tried live 2D when it first came out, and it was so limited. It was like only intended for animating your sprites for VN models, if I remember. Visual novels, if I remember correctly.
True.
So, like, I think the first time that I used the quote-unquote model, it was literally just like a small PNG chibi of my like persona, like my OC at the time. And like a lot of people post their art anyway, or even just look at YouTube with these people making video but not even like a mascot of themselves. Because if we look at the start of Vtuber like, it didn't even start with streaming. At first, it's just, okay, you make video or you upload to YouTube. That's how I started as a VTuber.
Yes. What matters is your content. If your content is interesting, people will come to you. I'll say it as someone who have been streaming as a VTuber for 3 years, and I spent almost like 2 of my years just being a PNG tuber, and I managed to survive. So just do it.
I would say kind of similar. I think I only got this live 2D model is actually my first live 2D model, and I got it in 2022. So by that time, I was already doing VTuber stuff for 4 years, but the streaming in total, I've been doing that for 10 years at that point. So it's like, it's never too late. And I'm also pretty proud to say that I did save up for 1 entire year to get this live 2D model. So for people who's like, oh my god, cannot get like live 2D, too expensive, it's like, just make like small goals. Like, maybe if you want to save like 20 ringgit a month, or maybe a little more if you could afford it, you'll eventually get there.
Yes, you can start with half body first. You don't need to get a full body VTuber,
Like, I've seen people who do even just bust VTuber, because you'll only see up to the bust part in most contents anyway.
Yes.
Right? That's why for me it's like, okay, even half body is too expensive, it's okay lah. Just do like a bust model first if you really, really want to see your model wiggle around.
Yeah, get the bust model for the PNG, and then for the ring, just get like probably head only, because especially if you stream games, you don't really move around that much. So just get the basic movement is enough.
Yeah, and at least even for the people who do like this, punya like idol like performances, right? There's no shame in starting out with the Vroid Studio model. I mean, especially now, it's easy to actually edit them now compared to when it started. That I had to make mine in Blender and then like import it to Unity to convert it to VRM. That kind of thing. That kind of thing, where it's like I always would encourage people that, okay, they feel like the money is a barrier. Well, if you want to get into VTubing to improve yourself, maybe it is your time to learn how to draw, or maybe learn how to rig. Because I've seen people who do that, like, they've never drawn before they became VTuber, but when they became a VTuber, they started to practice drawing, sketching, try to make their own rig. And it's just very satisfying to see, like, if you're gonna stay VTubing for another 2 or 3 years, I did this when I started as a VTuber, and look at my improvement now. Like, you don't even have to make a grand showcase of it to the audience, but even just putting a side by side, it's so satisfying.
Yes, I can totally relate with that.
Especially since I think I know that Axel does art. I think Syazu also does some art, right?
Syazu does a lot actually. Everything of her assets is actually done by herself.
Yeah, all of her assets are done by her.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I know that Syazu is kind of like one of those examples of self-made VTuber in the sense of the way that I use the term self-made VTuber is, asset, you make your own, model, your own art, your own
Yes.
name, that kind of thing. And I have the highest level of respect because
Oh my god.
the Rajin that I mean no matter if someone is beginning at art, and I would say Shazu's art is cute. It's cute.
Oh,
Like what I've seen of it, like I personally really like your model. The thing is, for people who actually devote the time, because there's also like this kind of sense of pride and accomplishment that I did this.
yeah.
Like I've met some VTubers before. They do their art, they model the assets. Sometimes they even make their own music, like their own background music and
Yes.
everything. And I'm like, you are so powerful. Wow.
Exactly. I really wish I can though. I really wish I can do everything, but then I realized no, music is just not my forte.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at least in that in those circumstances, that's when we get to appreciate that. Yes, it would be cool, and not gonna lie, bragging rights if you could manage to pull off every single asset of yours. But I think that's what's wonderful about like VTubing is we all have our own strengths. Like we don't have to actually be, we don't have to all be self-sufficient. If how do I say? Like it is not a requirement that you need to do everything. You could commission other people to do stuff for you, and in that way you're supporting your fellow creative people. But if you also want the challenge, then you could also do that if you want.
You can use like your skills. If you cannot draw, you can like learn how to edit and stuff, and then you can do stuff with the arts that you commissions.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've seen some people in the community some more who, most people would advertise their commission for like mixing or art asset. But then you'd see people who give writing commissions. And, for me, the bravery for someone to offer commissions that not other people offer, especially when you look at the commission and you see, oh my God, this person could actually write really well. And like sometimes I get kind of tempted, should I actually like get some lore just for the sake of, I want to commission this person, but I really don't know what to commission from them.
Your debut 4.0 lore backstory or something.
Well,
How you got frozen in time and then now you're back alive again? Ooh!
Yeah, that
I
kind of
mean,
works.
that could work. Yeah, that could actually work. Like, imagine if as a turtle sea creature, I got sunk into like the bottom of the ocean and I got like frozen, and then something or someone thawed me, and then okay, I can finally move again.
Actually, Punyu is from Ice Age.
No, I'm a very ancient tortoise. But okay, I think that kind of checks out. I've been doing this for a long enough time to qualify as a fossil.
Oh god, we unlocked her secret story, boys.
Yeah, Punyu is not a normal Punyu. You know, in Final Fantasy they have the legendary enemy called Adamantoise, right?
Yes.
Super huge.
Very big Daiki.
Yeah.
And I would say, if ever, this would be like a Mizu no Raji exclusive. Exclusive lore reveal. Who would have expected?
Moving on, so I guess we have already warmed up to each other a bit. No, I think a lot. It is time to move on to our next session where we'll learn more about our guests. Let's present to you guys Punyu's profile board data. Bam.
Right, so Punyulada is a Malaysian VTuber currently residing in Philippines. They are friendly Punyu, or turtle, especially known for having projects dedicated to supporting Malaysian VTubers. From a weekly schedule filled with local community events to art projects, Punyu has helped others with promoting their content. Aside from that, Punyu has been actively engaging in many community members' posts, taking their time to properly watch their content and giving feedback. If I must say, I was so shocked when I got the art from Punyu about my teeth dream. I was like, where did this one come from?
I'm not sure. I feel like that might have been our first interaction where I actually replied to something of yours. And then suddenly, oh my god, art!
Yeah! Okay, so the context. I had a dream, a very weird dream about how I had like flowers or strawberries actually growing underneath my teeth because I've always had a problem with my wisdom tooth. So it somehow popped into my dream, and I wrote it down in a tweet. And then like I left that tweet like I don't know like a month or something, and suddenly Punyu came back to that tweet and like, here, I can't stop thinking about this tweet. I drew the pic. I made a pattern out of it. Like, where did this one came from?
You know, I was actually kind of nervous about that because you know how some people would be like, oh my god, suddenly this person not even say hi first, huh? But you know, if I could let you guys in on a little open secret of sorts, I do bookmark quite a lot of tweets. And you know, I hope people do not get, you know, like, I personally, I cannot takut if like I see like one bookmark like, sapa! But you know, for me, sometimes I bookmark stuff because I might see them while I'm using my phone while in the toilet. But you know, I'm at work, so I don't have the brain. Not the brain, but I'm not in the mindset or like in the mode. Not mood, but like if I'm at work mode, I don't want to like, you know, interact with people on Twitter because like for me, I want to focus on one thing at a time. So what I'll do is I bookmark it first and then I come back to it later. So if people randomly see on the timeline like, why is there a quote retweet and then there's like an art of it, I probably bookmarked that tweet like a few weeks ago and only had the time to draw it by then. So I would say that was what happened with Syazu's post. Like, you know, I found it because for me, like, I do hope your wisdom tooth isn't giving you as much problems now. But, you know, like for me, when I saw that dream, my imagination just went wild and I'm like, I think this would look actually kind of pretty, or like it would kind of be nice to like make some kind of concept art with that. You know, just the idea of like the flowers, and I'm like, oh no. But you know, deep inside I do get this fear because you know, like not everyone is gonna vibe with you no matter how much you put yourself out there. Like some people might just not like it. So I was kind of prepared of, okay, maybe I just drop this out here and like I'm just going to, you know, hope for the best but expect the worst in this. But I guess in my case, especially at least in the VTuber community where at least most people seem to be happy to receive fan art. Like for me, it's just I like to draw and sometimes I really need to practice on something and I cannot come up with these ideas myself. Like Syazu's dream, that's not something my own imagination could come up with. So I'm like,
So like the tweets that you see and caught your attention gonna be like your prompt for you to draw something.
Yes, it's a bit like, I have an idea, I'll draw this. Because I've done quite a couple of silly kind of doodles based on people's interactions. Like, I think starting around late last year, I did try to ask at least people if they're fine with me drawing them. Like, you'd have VTuber with similar themes or VTubers with similar names. I do have one bookmark of that until now. And I promised that I would draw both of them. I still haven't done it. So yeah, that's what I mean when I say I bookmarked the tweet weeks or months ago and you'll just be surprised suddenly, oh, there's art! Because, you know, in a way, while the easiest thing that, you know, I kind of used to do a lot, but this year I'm planning to change to support people is, you know, to like or retweet or interact with the tweet directly. I know also that especially for VTubers who feel this intense attachment to, you know, their OCs, you know, it's something that's flattering for them, or, you know, they feel like, oh my god, I got my first fan art. It's always a nice feeling. So I kind of feel at least I want to give people that experience of, oh my god, someone drew me. And like, for me, the only payment or like the thing that I already get, I don't need anything else in return. Just the feeling that I've been able to draw for that person. And, you know, if they feel happy about that, that's already a bonus. That's like more than enough for me.
Yeah.
I was really happy when I got it. I was like,
I'm glad you liked it. Like, you know, every time that not only other people, the way that I observe, but even me when I get art, it's always like, like I always feel like so excited and giddy about it and want to just kick my feet on the air. Like,
It feels like we want to print all of it out and frame it and put it on the wall.
Exactly. Oh,
yeah,
God.
exactly. If I had the space, I would fill my office with just, all the art that I received over the years. But also at the same time, it's like, okay, like if it's the emotes, I don't know. It's so small. I don't think I could be. Because, like people also kind of think, oh my god, only the big agency VTubers get like fan art. I'm like, no, I'm gonna prove you wrong right there. You didn't even ask for the art. I'm gonna draw you in a way that, because at least for me, I feel confident in the way that I draw people because I always draw them in completely safe for work, or like I try to consider the character lore if they have any, or like their design. Like definitely if someone is like idol VTuber and they don't like the yandere thing, then I'm not gonna draw them with like a knife or whatever, It's like try to draw them in a pretty dress, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That is super considerate of you. Not everyone is able to do that. They usually will like, oh, this character is so pretty, I like them, and then they just draw whatever they want with the characters, even though that the owner of the character doesn't really like it. So it's good to know that you think about how the owner of the character would feel if they receive the pictures.
I think this comes from me being an artist for quite a long time already. So I come from some communities where, yes, like for us VTubers, it feels flattering to receive fan art, but there are some people who have very strict, like, please do not draw fan art of my characters. It's like people have their own, how do I say, their own comfort level. Like if it's not comfortable for them to receive art from other people of the OCs, it's like, I think people have to respect that. But I think that especially since the VTuber community, there's quite a few people in the community who do not draw. Some of them might not be very familiar with artist etiquette. So sometimes it's like by me asking, oh, is this okay with you? Then they suddenly realize, oh, okay, so that's actually something I need to consider. Okay, so now when I commission an artist, I will do this instead. So, it's also a bit of like helping people in a way, like get a feel for the culture of the community as well. Because, I don't want to, because, I just feel sad sometimes when I see this experience of some people saying, oh, the artist was like this, like that. Like they say like they didn't have a very good experience because of, and then I find out, okay, it was the first time like commissioning an artist and they completely have no idea what to do. So they just gave like a written description for a person who say, visual references only, that kind of thing. And it's like, okay, like I try to give them tips of like, ways on how to do it without, infringing on other people. Like, don't just take someone's VTuber model and say, oh, make me like this or like copy this style, which some artists I feel think of it like in a bad way, but knowing that some people it's literally the first time to commission and they're too excited. So sometimes I tell them, okay, so you only have written description, try to Google the description you want, and then at least like use stock photo real reference instead of like, other people's VTuber model, or like say, oh, can you draw it in this style? It's like I tell them also stuff like, oh, maybe if you feel like this artist style doesn't match, try to look for a different artist with the style that you want, instead of asking them, oh, could you draw the style of this person? That kind of thing. Actually, speaking of this thing is actually like the bunga raya that's like in a bud form, like it hasn't bloomed yet. That's not a chili pepper.
It's not a chili pepper.
It's not a chili pepper. I know it seems tempting to be like, oh, let's add like a little Punyulada reference here. No. I think because I was like experimenting with my art style, it didn't really translate properly. But it's supposed to be like the, like it's still like tutu. So it hasn't like actually bloomed yet. That was the idea I had for that. Because you said flower. You said flower pots to go underneath
I
tea.
can't remember what it was anymore, to be honest.
You know what? This art can pass as an album cover.
You're not wrong.
But I mean, I kind of thought of something like that of, okay, let's go with like something conceptual, like not too literal, but also a bit like, this could probably be like some kind of blueprint for some artistic punya cover art thing. And
Yeah.
like I think another thing that I just wanted to talk about also with support is, some people think, oh my god, being a supporter means I need to spend like liking everyone's post or like retweeting, and I'm like, no, sometimes it's also, if how do I say this? I guess in my case, because I also stream myself or make content, the way that I also support people is some people will DM me, ask me questions about this or that, like VTubing stuff, technical content, and I'm like, okay, I just give you my honest opinion. That's basically like another way that I see support. But being honest with our opinions doesn't mean that you just say stuff without considering other people's feelings, because you could still be upfront about feelings. And I would say it's a bit easier for me, because when I think of people's content, I always don't only focus on the negative, also tell them what's the good stuff that they do, encourage them to keep doing that. Then you could also give them like some points for improvement. But the critical thing here is like only if they ask, because there are people who just give criticism and this, like, the VTuber didn't even ask. Like, I didn't even ask for your opinion. Why are you just saying this here? But like when I saw that Axel actually posted, this tweet asking for feedback about the first episode of Mizuraji, so I felt confident enough to be like, "Hi, actually, I watch and listen to Mizuraji," that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would say that that's a way that people who don't have much experience with content creation, or like they feel, oh no, I'm not a VTuber myself, so all I could do is just this. I'm like, no, there are always ways that you could support people without having to be the 24/7, because honestly, I don't want anyone to give up their life or like mess up their work-life balance just to support VTubers. People always feel like, sangat rajin, like the first week, the second week, they're like so excited about it. But having experienced it myself, it's really overwhelming, especially when you follow a lot of people and then when a lot of people also follow you back. And it's a bit like, I cannot keep up with everyone. Like if I look back at my tweets in 2022, when I started to be, more on like the trying to give people advice, trying to support people in a way, without like actually being dedicated VTuber supporter. It's just more of, okay, I just want to see everyone grow. I just want to see everyone like be happy in this community. But at some point I was like, oh my god, I don't even see everyone's tweets. I feel so bad. But it's like most people are understanding. The people who don't, I wouldn't really consider, I wouldn't really think of them badly. It's just more of, okay, these people are probably like very new to VTubing or like very young. That's literally just like the freedom that comes with like not expecting the worst out of people and always just thinking, okay, there has to be a rational reason why this person acts this way. Which I guess is also why I think that, when it comes to people like giving their support to VTubers in general, I would say that it is a decision for the person to make. If you want to just support like just a few VTubers, I mean, it might work better for that person, or like because it's what they could focus on. But if they feel like they could do it for a general, like a bigger group of VTuber, like contoh like Malaysian VTuber community ka, at least it's a bit like you also have to be very open-minded in a way, because like not everyone is going to make content that is your style, but it doesn't mean that that you say stuff like oh, I'm only gonna support like this or that. It's like you could do that quietly.
Yeah.
And I just want like people to know that if they decide to support, I suppose it's like there is no pressure to literally support or carry everyone, because at some point I think one of the most special things, at least for me, for the Malaysian VTuber community, is the fact that to a certain degree we all support each other. And I think that's like the beautiful part, where it's like no matter how busy we are, it's like this sense of like genuine belonging into, okay, there are these people who how do I say this? At least like the way that I see it, maybe because I mostly surround myself with people who are very much more focused on wanting to do their own projects. Like for me, I feel like that's the best way to go about with things. It's like if you feel like you're stuck or you don't if you feel like you cannot stop, or like you don't wanna pursue this kind of project, or you feel like, okay, being an idol VTuber, like following the unwritten standards by corporate agency punya VTuber stuff doesn't work for me, then you could find your own niche, I think, is what I just feel about it. And I do apologize for like all the rambling here.
No, it's fine, it's fine. You said a lot of things that I wish Malaysian,
a lot more people understand.
yeah, VTubers from especially Malaysian communities would understand, because I feel like this is just my personal opinion. I hope people don't attack me, okay? This is just my personal opinion, but I think that nowadays VTubers tend to rely too much on the supporters to support them.
Yeah.
And also they expect the supporters to support their content immediately. Like it's going to be too fast paced, and I think this is probably because of the generation difference, because I feel like I've been in this like content creation thingy for more than a decade already. I started in around 2010, and I've been in like different kinds of community. I went from role playing to tatimita, and then I also jumped into the Seiyu thingy. So
Let's go.
yeah, back then everything is just offline. We don't do streaming and stuff, so people would support their favorite content creator based on their own time. If they have time, they will go to their content and they will support it, and then it doesn't matter if the content is like 1 month old. They will still try to support their favorite content creator, and I think that's fine. But the thing is, I feel like people nowadays, they would expect people to respond to their content immediately. Like right after they post it, they want the contents to blow up. Yeah, and I think that's not a good thing, you know. You should like be patient. Things will grow slowly. It will grow slowly, and I think it's better that way, because if you're expecting to grow fast, people will forget about it fast as well.
Really. Like betul. Like I would say that for me, I also feel like it's a generational gap, because I also started in similar circle with roleplay, and also like I did try to do the utat emita thing, but weirdly enough, like at least like, you know, for some people they actually manage to post the videos up there, but for me it's like I can't even post my videos. My internet connection is so bad, so you know, it's a bit like, okay, I just do the utat emita to myself. And then I think I was a bit lucky, because like you know, the circles that I was in, the schools that I went to, there was people who are also into like Vocaloid or these kinds of stuff. So it's like I just share it with them. So we just like do utate vita stuff offline. And even like what you said, where it's like, okay, people post a video and like, okay, this person is like gone for 11 months, and then they come back the next year with a video and like my feed, like utate vita is back. You know, it's like that kind of wholesome kind of vibe. And I feel like there is definitely a difference between those of us who started making this content, regardless of whether art or video, compared to like, you know, the people who actually already had smartphones when this stuff came out. That's why like people always need segera, like they always need it to be instant, immediate. And I would also admit that it has happened to me that some people would send me DMs of, why did you not read my tweet yet, or why you retweet or like. I'm like, you know, sometimes you kind of have to. At first, I kind of wanted to strike this balance between, you know, trying to like layan tahan this person, but also, and I say person like in general because it has happened more than a few times. But the way that I just approach it is, you know, just since it's in a DM, I kind of just explain to them that, okay, I know that you're still new to the community, so if you want people to check your stuff, I would recommend not doing it this kind of way. Like, I would say it's kind of funny in a way, because at least most people, actually I've not received a single person who, you know, got even angry at me for explaining it. But I think one of my more memorable experience is I tried to explain to a person, okay, I know that you're a new artist and you really, really want to like get people to commission you, but maybe don't DM everyone. Because you know, like how in Twitter there's a lot of like these bots, right?
Yeah.
Who just peddle commission. But this person, I knew that this person was not a bot. Like, but I explained to them, okay, because you're DMing everyone, it could make people block you or ignore you because it seems like bot behavior. But because I know you're not a bot, I want to tell you that that's not the way to do things. And this person drew a comic about the experience. So you know, it's a bit. So you know, it's kind of wholesome in a way, where it's like you could see that people genuinely appreciate also being given like a guiding hand, because like they get into VTubers, like I don't know what to do. It's like
Mhm.
throwing this baby turtle that just hatched out of its egg and then putting them into the sea and like, okay, just go swim. Like, okay, what am I gonna do now? Where's everyone? Mama!
Yeah, let's see where.
And at least for me, it's like if I'm able to explain this to people in a way that they could at least understand, that they could at least understand that okay, I'm actually like sometimes I just have to tell it upfront to them. I am significantly older than you, so I'm no longer studying. So that means I have a job, and if I don't look at your tweet immediately, it doesn't mean I'm ignoring you. So I just tell them, okay, you really want me to see it, DM me, but don't do it too much. Like, just DM me the stuff you're really, really proud of and feel like, okay, I really need this one to have a boost. Because just like what you said earlier, Axel, it's like I feel like a lot of people also think, oh my god, I need my stuff to be seen now. And like every single little thing. And it's like, I promise you, my guy, after literally 3 months later, 1 year later, 2 years later, you do not want each and every single one of that to be in your showcase. You will only pick and choose like maybe 10%, maybe 5% of all those stuff you asked me to look at for you.
Let's also go and see the description here.
Yeah.
Let's go back.
We should start
the presentation slide.
We should go back to the profile board. We haven't even started with the profile board.
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
It's fine. We talk about good things actually. Okay, so name Punyulada, and then your debut date is 30th June 2012. That is very
Yeah.
I'm ancient.
It's been 12 years already. Dang.
Oh my god. Is it 12? Yeah, 12. Yeah.
24, man. 24
Yeah,
already.
it will be 12 years by later this year. But at least I could say that I counted the time from the time that I started streaming my art. So this is basically streaming debut, not really VTuber debut. I don't think VTuber was even a thing back then.
No, it wasn't a thing.
It was not a thing. I was just streaming on websites that are now dead. Like if you guys like heard of Ustream or like livestream.com.
Oh yeah.
Those kinds of stuff. Yeah, that old.
Wow.
But at least like some art people may have heard of like Picarto TV. I've even tried Instagram Live for a while.
Oh wow, you're super experienced. Tried so many platforms. Wow, senpai. Oh my god. Okay, so your birthday, November 1995. This is really senpai.
Yeah.
I mean, not that much of a senpai. Actually, we're pretty much in the same generation.
Generation.
Generation, yeah. So I
If
feel
we were
like
in
that's
school,
why like
we'd be in the same school. We could be in the same school.
Oh no. Oh no. I takut.
Jangan takut senior.
Punyu senpai, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Alright, and then your main content is comics and art. Nice. Because I think so far, our previous guests, most of their contents involves streaming. So I think you're the first person whose main content is comics and art. So I think we can
it's
elaborate
more like
a little bit
art,
more.
right?
Yeah. And then your signature content is song parodies, silly doodles.
We went through the silly doodles part, yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So about your art thing, right? I noticed that you have opened an art booth in events quite a lot of times. So how long have you been doing this art booth thingy in an event?
I would say I've been attending conventions since around 2016, but boothing was I only started around 2020, and then the first event where I boothed after that was MCO. So
Aduh.
It's like I was so like excited and like, oh my god, I finally get to booth, and then like MCO, like yeah.
So basically almost 4 years of experience, but minus the MCO.
Minus MCO. So I would say like ignore most of 2020 and ignore 2021. But here's an interesting thing. Because like even during MCO, there were these online events. And I know that some of these small events, like the advertising, we were not really able to just advertise it very well.
Mhm.
But we tried to do this thing where it's like, okay, you could technically buy from us, but you will be having our merch delivered to you through Grab.
Oh, okay. So like the event is held in
Yeah,
a
or like
virtual
me-
way, and then if you buy the
Yeah.
merch, it will get sent to you. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like Ninja Van and like JNT kind of shipping punya kind of stuff. But
Huh.
at the time, we were very happy or like excited about the idea, and somewhat because it was online and they put it in a Discord server. These events were free, and
Mm.
I would say that it's actually nice that you brought that up, because that was one of the pivotal moments that made me realize, I think I actually want to start doing like VTuber stuff streaming, because like in
Oh.
those events we had like guests, and our guests were VTubers.
Mm.
And at the time, the VTubers were streaming VTubers already, not just posting content on the YouTube channel. So it made me realize, oh my god, people actually stream with VTuber now. Okay, I need to look into this. So yeah, I would say that experience is something that you only get because of MCO.
Yeah, true. I can agree with that. Mhm. So who is your first VTuber that you watched?
Oshi.
Oshi or your first VTuber?
VTuber, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, the funny part is like when it comes to Oshi, I would say that I've never really been the kind to have like an ultimate like favorite VTuber, but I would be like, okay, for this kind of content, I really like this VTuber stuff. But like, the kind of very paling dedicated kind of person where it's like, oh my god, you're my absolute favorite. It's like, it's not even the VTubers itself. I think it's just more of me wanting to explore everyone rather than just focus on one person. It's kind of like how you make friends with people, and it's nice to have like that one best friend, but it's also very limiting. So you kind of want to branch out and also meet and speak with other people. So I guess that's kind of what I would think of it. First VTuber though, I would say, I think pretty much like everyone else, like my first actual introduction to VTuber is Kizuna Ai. Like and the funny part is it wasn't even through like her actual content, it was through her Nendoroid.
Oh. Whoa, okay.
But at the time, I was the interesting part though is those people on YouTube who they make this video essay and have like the mascot of Persona ka. So it's like the OC.
Mhm.
Not those people are VTubers.
Ah.
Uh,
Wow.
But I think on a technical level they are like in the old definition of VTuber. But it's also a bit like if someone also does this stuff but they don't consider themselves a VTuber, I think we also have to kind of respect that. That kind of thing. So I think after Kizuna Ai, it would be more of like, really more of like Japanese side VTubers. I only started watching English language VTubers around 2021 actually. And I started out not with the corporate ones. I started with indies both from the US, and like since I'm based in the Philippines right now, I also started with like PH VTubers.
Oh.
But like what I always like about the indies that I follow is they've always never been the kind who's like, and there's nothing wrong with this, but there are some indie VTubers who literally only get into VTubing because the only goal is to get into an agency. But the people I followed are more of like, punya like they were artists first, kind of similar to me. Like we did art and like eventually did art stream, and then eventually it's like, okay, we become like V artists now because like, oh my god, I could draw my OC, I could make it into a model, I can rig it, so now I'm a VTuber. That kind of thing basically.
Okay. Because usually when we ask people who is their first introduction to VTubers, aside from Kizuna Ai, they would say like the corporate VTubers, like the HoloLive.
Right?
They would say the streaming VTubers, and especially come from corporate. And because of that, I could see that their content's kind of like
Inspired.
inspired by those corporate VTubers. So yeah, that kind of makes sense why your content's kind of like different to like corporate VTubers kind of like format. So you branch out from artist and then to like a streamer and then VTuber. Interesting. It makes sense.
And also like probably the attitude I have towards like VTubing, where it's like, I'm pretty santai about like, I don't really like, okay, sure, my mascot is technically an OC in a way, but like people could kind of easily identify me in events lah, because my model is quite literally based on how I look in person. Like I've actually received this comment, and I don't mind it now, and even back then it was funny. But like, those kind of thing where it's like, show me your VTuber PNG and I'll rate your model. So I submitted my PNG, this 2.0, this current live 2D model that I'm using. And then like the person, I watched the stream and he said, why is your model so fat? Like, that's my actual body type. Astaga, that's me. It's like, I don't really mind, because it's like, you're not lying though, but it's also like, do you have to say that on the stream?
You're gonna make people too stunned to speak.
Exactly. I was like, I was chatting and like really excited, and at the time I was like, you're not wrong, and then I just had this awkward silence for the rest of the stream.
My goodness.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's just like for me to kind of bring it home that it's like, okay, I'm chubby in person and my model is also kind of chubby. That is on purpose. But it's also like how some people really go for like a completely different character. Like sometimes it's not even an OC. And I think in some ways you could tell, because like a lot of us who started out as like artists or like utaite and like did this VTubing thing, we use our mascot. Like it's practically okay. We had this mascot and we just like isekai it into like VTubing. But like for some of these people, it's like okay, they just want to like, this looks cool, this looks cool, this looks cool. Which is like okay, there's no problem with that. But you could kind of also see, especially for those of us, like I guess that makes it three of us. Like if you've been around the internet and looking at content creators for a long time, you can kind of tell which one has like a lot of love for the OC, or like the people whose VTuber model is quite literally self-insert. It me.
Yeah. We can definitely tell. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of when I was in my past life. I do have I changed my models quite a lot of times, and there's this one time when I make my models look like very feminine, cute, like super nice, super soft. And then my voice sounded a little bit lower than I sound right now. And then one time I was streaming, and then people come to my stream and be like, so are you a boy or a girl?
Oh, I get that all the time.
And I was like, I wonder.
I wonder.
Contemplates life.
Yeah, I was too stunned to speak, and then I was like, I kept thinking about it, and I ended up changing my model to become a little bit more androgynous. So after I changed to that androgynous model, people stopped asking about my actual gender anymore. Yeah,
exactly. And at least for you, I would say it really works out nicely. But there are people who also like put too much of an emphasis of like, oh my god, your model doesn't match your voice. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's their model. It's their OC.
Yeah, it's the way they express themselves.
It's how they express themselves. Like I also see VTubing as some kind of safe space lah, where it's like we get to wear the fashion we cannot wear in real life as our VTuber basically. Like for me, I've actually said this a lot of times, where it's like I mean it's partially a joke, but it is genuinely one of my motivation. I decided to have a VTuber model because sometimes I'm too low maintenance, or like I don't look presentable to actually show my face. And another joke I say, but this is true, I don't want to be outed for wearing baju kelawar every day when streaming.
I see.
It's like for some people who's like, oh my god, because they really make streaming like part of, they're so organized and paling professional about it, so they actually like dress up, wear makeup. I'm like, nah, I'm just like chilling here in baju kelawar.
Yes, it's the most comfortable clothes to wear when you're streaming.
That's the fun part of VTubing, everybody. You don't have to care about how you look. No one will know. No one will know. Literally not wear anything if you want. But...
Yes. You can wake up and then have a messy hair just straight out stream.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would say that that's one of the benefits of it. And like for some people who's like, oh my god, but my camera is not even tracking me properly. It's like, yeah, you don't have to like worry about, because I see people stressing about, oh, I want to have like this motion capture or like this lip motion, and I'm like, upper lip motion. Like I know what it is, but it's like it's not really necessary. I feel like a lot of people just get too much into like this FOMO sometimes.
Yeah, true.
And probably also like comparing to what corporate or already successful VTubers have, and they want the same thing, and surely you can't because you don't have the resources yet.
Yeah, exactly. And I just kind of feel like it's a bit short-sighted that, okay, it's fine if you have if you do this as a hobby. Like in my case, I consider my VTubing, my streaming as a hobby over everything else. Like it's but for some people it's like, yes, some hobbies could get expensive, but at least be responsible about it. I've been in too many communities where people just keep looking at others and like, okay, I want that, so they do really they make really questionable financial decisions. Yes, exactly. And I'm like, and then suddenly you quit VTubing and never reincarnate, and I'm like, what are you gonna do with all your equipment?
Yes. I've seen people spending thousands ringgits on their models just to graduate a month later. And I was like, bro, what about all the money you spent?
I know, right? Like, I would say that before I got this live 2D model, which I think at the time it was close to 1,000 ringgit for the whole model. But I mean, that's with all the toggle and everything. But like I said, I saved for it for a whole year, and I wanted to make sure that I really wanted to have this live 2D model first. Not like, because I've had this experience before where someone was not a VTuber yet and asked me, oh, I want to be a VTuber, but before I become a VTuber, should I have like 3 monitors? Should I have this CPU?
Oh my lord.
I'm like, 3 monitors, bro. I literally only use 1 monitor. It's always been that way.
Yeah, you don't have like a cool setup. I started with a laptop and a broken monitor.
Same.
I
broken
started
monitor
with
too.
an iPad.
Oh my god, iPad gang too.
Oh my god, yeah, as long as you can create content, just make. Don't need to like spend all your money. It's gonna be a waste if you feel like it doesn't suit you.
Yeah, and I feel like something that needs to be normalized more in the community is like, okay, just do like trial streaming without like worrying about, oh my god, I need to like make this very like beautiful debut kind of thing like Popo. I'm like, no, my dear. Like, okay, if you want to do it, like, fine. You could make a special program eventually if you want, but like, please at least make sure that you want to stick with VTubing for quite a while before you invest all this money on this and then suddenly only one stream and then you're gone. Like,
True.
Yes.
I've seen it happen too many times, and every time it's like, it's like my heart just breaks. I'm like, sayang.
Yes.
Sayang in like, sayang telepass, not like, sayang po. No, because people kind of, I know that technically for us, it means either of that two, of those two, right? But, there are people who think that when I say sayang, I'm calling people, sayang po. Like, no.
No. There are so many ways to use sayang. Jangan perasan sangat.
Yeah.
Exactly. Itulah. And, it's like, I'm not the person on Shopee like send you a message of like, hi sis or hi dear. Like, I'm not that kind of person lah.
Oh my god. Yeah. The sellers at Shopee do be like, hi dear, hello sayang.
Like, I've actually experienced that before with a friend who, is a guy, identifies as a guy and all that. And then like the person messaged him with hi sayang about the bag, and he was like, this bag is for my mom. And the bag was really for his mom. And it's like his name on Shopee is like very obviously guy name. And I'm like, oh no, I could just imagine how he felt getting a hi sayang message, like, hi sis, you want this bag? Like,
Oh my god, it reminds me of this one story when a guy wanted to buy a tudung for his wife, I guess, and then he contacted the seller, and then like usually the people who sell tudung is a girl, so he'd be like, "Hi sis, do you have this cool stuff and stuff?" And then the seller replied with, "Hi sis, yeah, we do have." And then further down the conversation, it turns out both of them are guys. And then
I
hi
saw
sis.
that one too. It's a screenshot, right? I saw
Yeah, it's a screenshot.
Wow. I mean, I could also see that happening because I do know some people in person where it's like, okay, they have this shop and all this stuff is like, to do, or like, clothes for girls, but like the person selling is actually like this guy, because like the wife is like too busy actually buying all the materials or like sewing the stuff herself. So like
Alright, anyways, I think we went out of the topic a bit too far.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So that's it for Punyu's profile bot session. I believe we managed to learn a lot more about Punyu that we couldn't learn about anywhere else. So I guess we can call ourselves Punyu's best friend now.
Hey yo.
Ayo.
Ayo. Just joking. So anyways, Syazu, I'll pass the baton to you to move on to the next section.
はい、任せてください。So, roughly a week ago, we posted a link to Twitter on Twitter for people to submit questions they wanted to ask Punyu. We compiled the questions and organized them here. And we are now ready to ask our dear guest the questions. Yes, the answers to the questions. Yes.
Oh my god, yeah. Tak apa faham, it's night time.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So question 1. Oops. Yeah, question 1. Assuming the host and guests went to underwater school, what kind of sports you would play together while skipping class? So apparently this is a question for both the host and the guest, so all of us need to answer. But we're gonna start with Punyu first.
Okay. Yeah, since we're all sea creatures already, and I assume already under the sea, right? So swimming could count as a sport, is it?
Yeah.
What?
Swimming. Swimming is
No, I
basically
mean-
like the above ground track club.
Maybe it's like under the sea track and field club. I mean, I do generally like track. I do generally like running, but I did actually like join like the school team like swimming thing like on a competitive level before. So I would say I'm pretty
Wow.
confident about like swimming.
I can only berenang kata, so I'll be at the
I can
back.
only float.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's okay lah. The important thing is you could float, because like imagine if you get in a situation where I wouldn't wish this on anyone, but for example, you're like in a ship or something, and then like and you don't even know how to float. Imagine the fear in your life being like, I don't even know how to float. What am I gonna do now? I guess I'm gonna sink with the ship. Like, no, please no. Please at least know the basic of like floating on the water. Especially if you're a sea creature.
Yes. Imagine a sea creature cannot swim or even float. Hey, wait, but we can breathe underwater though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so we won't die. It's okay. We're just gonna sink.
Just gonna sink.
Yeah. So Punyu will say swimming. What about you, Syazu?
Volleyball? I don't know. You can play like those. Not like volleyball, like beach balls, like the soft bouncy balls, so you can play them all in water.
Yeah, like maybe you could use your fins for that. Like in my case, maybe I could serve with a shell or like a flipper. I don't know.
Yeah, just bounce balls around in the water. I think that'd be fun. It's not sports, but
we can play together. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not competitive. I just like bouncing those. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just like playing a sport for fun. I think I think that's better than like always being like paling competitive like all the time. Like no need to be so serious about everything.
Yeah, just play for fun.
Yeah. So Syazu will
And you,
say volleyball. As for me, I am somewhat kind of in Japan you would call it undo unchi. I cannot sports.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm undo unchi. So I would say, and also Axolotl is pretty slow when it comes to moving. So how about we play slow dodgeball?
Slow
dodgeball.
dodgeball.
Like literally every move is just like slow motion. No
Yes.
need to even like slow the video down. It's already slow.
Yes, push the ball slowly. The ball will float. And then you just like slowly move to the side to avoid the ball.
Exactly. Like some people would probably think, oh my god, it's gonna be easy because the ball is slow. It's like, no, you're also slow. You're diva.
Yeah.
Yes, and
It's
also
even-
because it's inside the water, the ball will go straight.
Yeah, it's not going to have like some kind of like these big brain physics people punya like the angle will go this way. No, my dear. Like there's too much water for it to do that.
Yes, too much water. Yeah.
Are you guys sure there's no current streams, water streams under the sea? There has to be, right? Have you guys seen Finding
There
Nemo?
are. Yeah, there are.
There
Yeah.
are. But I would say that it would be reckless to do dodgeball in that kind of part of the sea anyway. Because we would become the dodgeball. All of us would become the ball.
Yes,
Alright.
true. Oh my
I'll
God.
just hold on to Punyu then, like.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, we can just like hop on to Punyu.
Yeah.
Travel together.
I mean, even in the movie, right? In like Finding Nemo, I think they also did that. Like they clung onto like this
Yeah.
turtle guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like movie scene reenaction. Oh no.
It's actually us all
I
along.
tend to draw a fan art of that. Okay, so second question. Ito. Since turtles are known for their longevity, they most likely have good career advice. As sea creatures, which career have highest paying salary?
Are you sure you
Sea
want me to
creature.
answer this question to the person who asked this question?
It's gonna be a super facts condensed answer, I guess.
I wouldn't say that. I could have gone the route of actually doing like this, like research of what is the most highly paid profession. I would say, in my opinion, in my very uninformed opinion, politicians seem to be paid most, but they're not universally
Yeah.
respected anyway. So you wouldn't want to be a politician. Please don't. At least trust that the person who asked this question doesn't have any plans for that. Because like, it's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it. But I would say that, like talking about like this very highly paid profession, like the stuff that parents typically always tell us that like you should become like a doctor, like engineer, or like lawyer, right? And it's like people because like I think at least for us, people are starting to realize that the reason that parents kind of push us into this career is not really the money, it's more of like the prestige. Like you get like a lot of respect from people if you're in that profession. But speaking from my own personal experience, there's many people who always say, oh my god, like you're a doctor, so that means you're rich. I'm like, no. Because like for anyone who thinks that a doctor is an easy way to become rich, I have really bad news for you. Doctors only become rich if you already come from a family that's rich or like wealthy, or if you have a lot of like side businesses, or like you have the regime to like have this your own like skincare line, or your own food supplement kind of thing that you sell to people in a very questionable multi-level marketing punya thing. Or if you marry someone who's already rich, like I could tell you how many times in the hospital I hear, oh, I just want to quit being a doctor, I just want to marry some guy with like a big inheritance. I'm like, I become too stunned to speak. So I would say that if the person is asking about high paid careers out of curiosity, I would say that those ones would still kind of appear kind of high on the list. But I think at least locally, like Malaysia, or like even just in our region in general, I would say that many of these professions don't get paid that much anyway. The lawyers, though, I see maybe a little more, but it also all of these professions, this doctor, lawyer, punya engineer, it also depends on how you market yourself. Because like if you don't have any like connection in your profession, then who's gonna recommend you, like say, oh, this doctor is great at like this kind of specialization, or like, oh, this was my surgeon, and when they did the operation on me, I had no problems, and I felt like all my like the disease that I got the surgery for, I no longer have that kind of complaint. Or like this engineer did a great work with my house, or this lawyer is so brilliant and managed to win this case for this person. But like, if you don't know how to make friends in your profession, even if your profession is highly paid, you won't get that payment. Because like, I've met many lawyers, doctors, engineers who struggle to even like, pay for their monthly bills. So I would say, if the question of asking highly paid profession is because you might want to actually look into getting into that profession, it's like you have to consider, do you actually want to do the work that this profession does, knowing that it's not a guarantee that you're going to get that much money anyway. And like, the sad reality is sometimes you'll probably not get hungry, especially as a doctor, because your patients will give you food. The ones who cannot pay you at all or give you any like gifts, they'll give you food. So I'll never get hungry. But I would say that like paying your bills, there's not something you could guarantee from that. So that's all that I could say as an ancient sea creature.
I also would like to add on to this question as someone who also in a field that kind of pay quite high. I mean, an IT industry. IT industry that's wait a minute. The IT does pays quite high, but you have to sacrifice your time and your freedom.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Work and life balance is not possible in IT. I myself, I work from 9 to 5, 9 to 6. 9 to 6, the standard office hour. And then after that, I still have to work, and like 3 a.m. if there's something wrong with the system, I would receive a call and I have to go to work. So the pay is high, but there's no work and life balance. So if you want to go into this kind of fields thinking because I will get high salary, I can spend more money and stuff, but if you don't have time to rest, do you even have the time to spend those money? Do you want to live the rest of your life just working 24/7? So just just think on how you want to live your life in the future, I would say.
And I want to add also, since you mentioned like work-life balance, I think a lot of younger people, like the generation next to our generation, always think like, oh my god, the employers need to give us better work-life balance. I'm like, no, unfortunately that's not how it works. That's something we need to figure out ourselves. As unfair as it sounds, right?
Yes.
For IT, like I have a lot of respect also for IT, because like I also have many friends who are IT professional, and they also tell me the same thing. Like, I tell them it's not much different from being a doctor. You have your regular office hour, but you have to be on call. If, for example, you're a back-end dev and something breaks on the back end, you need to fix that immediately and you need to push it to production. I'm like,
yes, that's
you guys just choose a different kind of poison. And I could at least like, I could tell because I did work IT for a while. That's why like, I kind of thought, I'm not gonna study IT because I've already done with this crap before I realized, no.
Yes.
So, it's like, I guess the main moral of the story is every work is technically hard. It's just really up to us to find something that we're good at, and something that we know that, we could actually like do and not feel like, I mean, it's called a job because it's not something you 100% enjoy anyway, but it's something tolerable. Something tolerable that it's like, okay, this is like very hard, but I'm willing to do it because it earns me enough money to live properly. But I would want for people to listen to what Axel just said very carefully, because that is true regardless of what profession you get into. You really have to consider the fact that it's like, okay, you're gonna work a lot and get like a lot of money, but if you don't even get to like enjoy that money in the first place, or you get sick from overwork, it's like, it's not worth it.
Yes.
If you guys want though, if you guys are interested, go get a language certificate, JLPT N1, Korean topic level, I don't know, the highest level, whatever, and jump into customer service. I would say it's not easy money, but you do get paid high for customer service. But you might either have to work in shifts because you are accommodating customers from like Korea or like elsewhere in the world. So I have girlfriends that work at like 10 p.m. and ends like 7 a.m. the next morning, so they have to work in the office. But their pay is like and not 24 hours. It's
Almost,
still
almost.
8 hours, but like at night, you know.
Like
Oh,
graveyard
okay,
shift
10
punya,
p.m.
right?
I heard 10 a.m. So I was like,
10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Yeah.
No, please. It's already enough that doctors have to do that and nurses. Please, let's not ask customer service to do that also.
Okay, so 10 p.m. Okay.
Yeah,
Like
10
they-
p.m., not AM.
Yeah. Like night shifts, right? So they get paid very good,
Mhm.
but yeah, they have to like consider working in shifts, working at night, and then holidays, and then if you are actually handling customers, then you have to get used to like get mocked on. Like, why can't I do this? Why can't you do that? Why are you putting me here? What will we like? All of those in a different language too, like not in your own language. Like, yeah,
People being more condescending, especially if they know that, okay, this person is not from my country, so I could shit on them more. And you know, some people make it seem like on the internet it's a flex to be able to understand it, but no, it actually stings more. Sometimes it's like, you know, I've actually experienced that sometimes because like I've lived in different countries, and sometimes, you know, people would say stuff to me thinking that I don't understand what they're saying, and it's like, no, I completely understand what they're saying, and it hurts.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of the boothing thing, one time I boothed in an event. There was this person, you know, most people in like ACG community or even like normal art market, they're very friendly and speak with you. But there was this one time, this person did not speak to me at all. And the person beside her asked, oh, why aren't you speaking to your table neighbor? And they were like, oh, that person is like, you know, like saying in like the native language, like, oh, that person is a foreigner, and like I look at their Instagram and I don't understand anything that they're posting. I'm like, huh?
Wow.
Oh my god.
Like, you know, it was like, I know it's not my fault, but it's like, you know, and the thing is, it does happen in real life. Like, I think Syazu, as someone who speaks Japanese to a much better degree than I can, because like I would say that I'm very mama at it, but like I feel like I feel like, you know, like you may have like some kind of experience where maybe some people were a bit careless with the wording, not considering that kind of stuff. And the thing you mentioned also about like the night shift, because like, you know, some people are like, oh, I'm a night owl anyway, so it works for me. But are you sure you really want to be sleeping in the morning and afternoon and miss out on all the fun stuff that happens at night?
Exactly.
But you know, like, respect to like in general to you, or you know, anyone working customer service related jobs. It really requires you to be good with people, and practically not, you know, it's not even about being a social butterfly. It's just knowing how to like layan and tahan people practically.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your bread and butter. It's your bread and butter to like tahan people every day.
One thing that I know, okay, I myself, I don't work in customer service. My friends do, however.
Oh, your friends,
But-
yeah.
Yeah, my friends. But my friends are like, they say it's way better working in there because it's just 8 to 5. Like, you don't have work outside of it. So
Oh, yeah,
even if
that's
you're
true.
stressed, you're stressed inside your work. You're not stressed outside of your work. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's
nice.
true. And I would say that the thing that you mentioned also about like getting a foreign language certificate, it is definitely like a leg up. Like, I would say that, you know, as a person who dabbles in language a lot, and my content actually like kind of focuses on language sometimes. Like, I like bringing up the similarities between languages that people think, oh, yes, they're related or like in the same region. Like, you know, people look at like Bahasa Melayu and like Bahasa Tagalog, and like they say, oh, this looks so familiar. I think I recognize the words, but I don't really recognize the meaning. And I'm like, you're half right and you're half wrong. Sometimes you see a word that is unfamiliar to you because the spelling is different, but it's like exactly the same meaning as a word that you are already familiar with in Malay. So I don't have an I couldn't think of an example right now of the. Okay, no, I do. Like, you know, habuk, right? Like for dust. Yeah, habuk. But like in Bahasa Tagalog is abo. So I kind of say that Bahasa Tagalog is a bit like a lazy kind of Bahasa Melayu, but with more complex grammar. So I don't even know if you are lazy or not. Like, no, because you know, I've actually experienced people like they have an easier time learning Bahasa Melayu or like Bahasa Indonesia if they speak Tagalog first than if you come from BM first and you learn to speak Tagalog. It's like the grammar is like complex unnecessarily, and I'm like, why?
Oh, okay.
And like, kenapa like put this, like at least like the tenses, right, a bit more, how do I say it? They're a bit more predictable for BM, because like that's why I guess for English we don't struggle as much with like the tenses of English, because like there's not much variation with that, with like has had kind of thing, like for example that kind of the conjugation stuff. But the thing that's very annoying to me about that, and I don't mean it in a bad way, it's just more of like me having skill issue, honestly. It's like no, because like, how it's like at least we add stuff to the beginning of the word or at the end of the word, or both. But like in Bahasa Tagalog, they add stuff in the middle of the word. I'm like, huh?
Oh, okay.
So it's like sometimes you don't recognize that it's the same root word anymore, because it's like you add stuff in the middle and suddenly it sounds like a different word, and I'm like, oh, that kind of stuff. I would say that regardless of whether it's Japanese, Korean, Mandarin that people are interested in, it opens more job opportunities. Not only like customer service lah, but like you get into a company and then maybe you'll get surprised. Oh, we actually have a lot of customers from this place, so maybe you could like help us out with translation. But if that happens to you, please actually charge them, a fair, something fair for yourself. Because some companies take too much advantage. Like, right?
Yes. I have a personal experience regarding that. Yes. I without exposing too much about myself, but people do know I learned chemical engineering. So I got into the most relatable department that I could do is quality assurance. So like, and this company, they want someone that speaks Japanese. And I'm like, okay, I speak Japanese and I'm in chemicals, so I kind of fit this job. And then I look at my pay and I'm like, oh yeah, this sounds like an okay pay for a fresh graduate. Until I went around and asked people about I didn't tell them what my pay is, but I was like, oh wait, you guys get the same amount as me. But I was told this was from my language, Japanese language. And then I'm like, I did not get anything from my Japanese language. And and like all of the
enemy betrayals.
The Japanese bosses start asking me. I think they were happy with how good I could communicate in Japanese, so they wanted me to stay longer. So they would ask me, Syazu-san, do you have anything that you're not happy with the company right now? And I would just blast them with, my friends in this company, they get this much money for being able to speak Japanese, but I get nothing. And like, I mean, okay, I'm not angry at them. I talk in a very nice way, you gotta be very subtle about this. And then fast forward a year afterwards, I got an increase in pay for my Japanese language. So yeah, fight for your rights, everybody.
Exactly.
Through the right methods too. Don't just sabotage yourself in the background. You be quiet. You don't do the jobs people ask you. That's just self-sabotaging. People will want you to go away.
Oh yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to add about this because it reminds me of something. Okay, so before I worked part-time in IT, before I work full-time in IT, I cannot speak tonight. Bali, yeah. Before I work full-time in IT, I work part-time in F&B. And I work in shift because a part-time, right? So we got paid by the amount of hours. Yeah, paid by hours. So there are some people who didn't keep track on their working hours. So there's this one time when my place, the boss doesn't really keep track of our working time and just put whatever. So we got underpaid for a few months.
Duhai.
Yeah, someone noticed that, especially the part-timers got underpaid, so it got into a really huge fight. So it kind of teach me that I should pay more attention to the amount of money I get paid. Is it correct or not? Especially you got paid by hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like sometimes we cannot trust, the employer to actually pay properly. I tell you, like, people sometimes think, oh, this is like in corporate setting. No, I tell you, the amount of people in medical who also have this problem. So sometimes the people doing housemanship already have like back wages for like 3 months. It's like with the work hours of doctors. So, I don't want to like be too much on a downer here, but if people are kind of wondering, oh my god, why are these people doing housemanship like leaving by the droves? It's like, okay, maybe consider that maybe that's what's actually happening behind the scenes. But you know what Syazu said, the advice here actually, because I kind of noticed that I think a lot of the questions have much to do about like career. So I really do hope that at least people who are listening to Mizu, Raji would consider these kinds of stuff also. Because like it's more of like we've been there. I know it's like kind of cliche to say that because we're already here and you guys are just about to enter this life. But
Dah
it's
makan
like,
garam lebih.
no, it's not just be like garam. It's not just be like magaram. It's just like facts, really.
And you really didn't think they're true until you face it, And
Yes.
it's true. And then rinse and repeat. The next generation sees the same thing, and they're like, dang, it's true. And then rinse and repeat again.
Exactly. It's like, the thing Syazu mentioned about like also negotiating properly. Because like I was about to throw in the joke of like, please don't actually go like, oh, kane ganai, when like your boss
Don't do that.
Improve. Like, please don't do that. I know it's funny as a meme, but it's a bit like trying to balance being like sopan dan santun with like, because they are still like an employer, so you have to know how to speak to them properly without offending them, but also letting them know I am kind of aggrieved. And I think that applies even outside of work with everything. So it's actually really cool because like I don't really mind saying this, but like I was one of my first jobs right out of uni was supposed to be in quality control and assurance as well. I studied pharmacy before I entered med school actually. So it's like pharmacists also like get to work in like the industrial side, like for manufacturing. So that was one of the jobs I was about to get, and I also had a similar experience about the pay. So I would say that I think it's pretty common in that particular industry that people they make you have like feel like, oh my god, this is a good salary, but when you do like comparing with your peers, it's like, no, actually it's a bad salary, it's a bad deal. They're paying you.
Then work environment. Okay, that's for another day. Woohoo! Right, next
For a
question.
different day. I think it will get like too long actually.
Alright, okay, let's move on to the third questions. So, based on your experience, in terms of fatality, are human, land creature, equivalent to shark, sea creature?
Is this question for me?
For you.
For you.
Okay. Because like I don't know what a fatality means in this context. Do you mean like people trying to kill me? You mean like people versus sharks trying to kill me, or like turn me into like supanyu?
Maybe like at the top of the predator,
Food chain?
food chain. Yeah. So like both are equally hard to be killed because we're at the top of the food chain. Humans, probably.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I would also say that because like I guess like I don't want to like get too serious, but I read something like some time ago that compared people into different sea creatures. I know there seems to be a theme where it's like, oh my god, like Punyo is a panyu, like oh my god, you love sea creatures so much. It's actually like this kind of theory before, where like people get grouped into like a carp, into a shark or like a dolphin. So, like shark behavior is basically like those people who they will just, like sangat competitive people who just don't care about like whoever they kind of gado along the way as long as they get to the top. And then like shark people are like, the very passive people who are like, they already know that they're being like attacked or like that they're not getting like treated well, but they still just decide to just because they feel like they don't have a voice, or like, I'd rather just do this because I don't want trouble. And then like apparently in that theory the dolphin is like the best animal to be, because like you're kind of, I think something about like they kind of use these animals as a way to kind of show like how passive someone could be versus aggressive, and like the dolphin is just like in the middle, because like dolphins could be like defensive attackers as well, but they could also be like, most people go to a show to watch dolphins like do the tricks,
Mhm.
but you don't really watch sharks doing tricks, right? Is it? Because like too violent and scary.
Mhm.
So I would say that considering that sharks are animals that they, at least right now, science doesn't say that they have like an ability to think of like morality or whatever. I feel like I'd be more scared of a shark because they only kill or attack by instinct.
Yeah.
But like for a human being, like humans could actually think about it more. They have the chance to change, even if you say, "Oh, this person was brought up like violent," but you don't know. 5 years down the line, they might actually like, turn their life around. But with a shark, I don't trust shark. But one thing I'd say, don't be too scared about being like bitten by a shark. Statistically speaking, you are more likely to get like stabbed by a fellow human being than a shark. I guess the answer goes both ways. So it's like, as a sea creature, I'm more scared of sharks. But as a human being, I'm more scared of fellow human beings.
Yeah, you talk about stabbing. I remember when I was in Japan, there was this one year we were told that there might be a stabbing case in our vicinity, and I went around with my friends. I have like a chopping board. I put it underneath my clothes, just in case if someone runs towards me, at least it hits the chopping board. They're not gonna stab my stomach.
Yeah, at least it's like a makeshift bulletproof.
Yeah.
But this time knife-proof, right? Knife-proof because like at least it's a chopping board. Like, hey, I came prepared.
Yeah.
And it reminds me a bit of an experience I had because I do bring it up sometimes that I did work and live in South Africa for a while, and this was around the time that the crime rate was starting to increase there due to some stuff. So I visited someone, and then like the evening that I stayed over in that person's place, literally just next door there was someone who kinda stabbed in the house. Like like the fear of like I felt up when I woke up the next morning hearing the news of like, okay, someone got stabbed, and then when I found out it was literally on the same street, I'm like, Apo, that could have been us. That kind of thing was scary because like at least like I'm glad that in your case, Syazu, you were warned about it, that there was like an incident. But in this case, I was completely unprepared. It just so happened to be the day I went there somehow.
Because that's like the thing with Japan, even though they think like it could be a prank, because apparently it was written on like an electric pole or like at the like TNB area, but somewhere in Japan, like the electric building stuff. There was like someone wrote on there that there will be a stabbing incident on this date.
Oh,
at this
wow.
city. So they took it to the police. They sent it to all of the schools. They make sure everybody knows that that's going to be happening. So I got a message. I'm not sure if I got an email, but I got a message at least it was a message from my teachers to be careful when going out on that day because it was said to be a stabbing incident.
True. At least like Japan takes this stuff seriously, right?
Yeah.
Like, even like bear sighting, it's like don't ever prank about like saying that there's a bear here. No, they take that stuff seriously because bears are so deadly.
Yes.
Especially with food.
Yes. But like it did happen apparently in the city I was in. But if you were in Tokyo, yes, it did happen. So stabbing cases are a thing. I don't know what goes through their head that you just bring a knife and like just stab people in the stomach. Like we don't know why.
I think I saw a news like a few years ago. It happened inside a train when the person
inside
got
a train.
stabbed around the neck area, right?
I don't remember where, but train stations
it
are.
was like in the train actually, and it's just scary to me thinking that it was in a train because it could have just been a Minoru-san. If you know what I mean, Syazu, by like a Minoru-san. Okay, let me try to explain at least. Like I think it's like a term that's used for like these 40, 50-year-old like salarymen who's like
I don't know.
yeah, the very noisy, the very noisy ones on like the train that kind of like they just look at you and they look like they wanna gado you. Those kinds of guys. Yeah, like I'm just kind of terrified with the idea of what if it was that kind of person. Like they probably like were just too stressed. I don't want to excuse the behavior, but like what's going on in the mind is like not clear anymore. Like the judgment is just completely clouded and like, okay, maybe this is why these people kind of think or not even think at all. It's just like, okay, just get knife, just do it because like desperate to like relieve stress kind of thing. At least it didn't happen in the city that you were in though.
Yeah, but it's crazy.
It is.
Right? Shall we move on to the next question? Ito. Questions for hosts and guests. In maritime world, are land creatures like cats are pets to sea creatures? Imagine Sandy from SpongeBob SquarePants.
What? Oh my god. Okay, overly
Bro.
specific example, bro. I mean, look,
We're all in our human form. So what are you saying? We're all pets to our Huh?
yeah, brain does not compute right now. Like my otak literally jato. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean a land creatures like pets? So basically, it's like my turtle form is supreme to my human form. I'm scared. I'm scared of the thought, but I guess like as a turtle, like as long as the animal is bigger, it would be terrifying enough for me to just retract into the shell. And like a misconception people have is like, oh my god, turtle have shell. Maybe it's like a snail that is like they could get out of the shell. No, I'm sorry, the shell is literally part of the body. You try to take the turtle out of the shell, I die.
Yes.
That kind of thing. But I'm not sure if like axolotls or other sea creatures have like that kind of defense mechanism against like maybe a land creature that just suddenly like picks them up like like grabs them from the sea. Like how does that even work?
Yeah, I don't think axolotl have one. They're pretty fragile.
Fishes just don't have one either.
Yeah, they just
No.
Yeah, the fish inside me was literally my pet. So like, no.
Yeah, like it's literally just axolotl fishes just go bloop 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 bloop.
Yes.
Still animals, very vulnerable animals.
Yeah, but I mean, at least these animals could be cute. But it's like if the cat is even bigger than me, then I'd be scared of the cat. Hello.
That's true.
Yes, I would think that the cat would want to eat me or something.
Yeah, like axolotls are kind of small some more. And like the fish, it depends on the size of the fish. Oh no, cats actually eat fish. We will protect you, Syazu. We will defend you from the cat.
I'm human now, I'll be alright.
Yeah, you'll be. Yeah, just go to your human form. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah. So basically, I don't think land creatures are like pets to sea creatures.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think we're more like enemies, no?
Enemies or like I think we're their food.
Yeah.
They eat us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Predators, like our predators. So why would we want to make them our pets? That would just make us be like crazy people, like human that have like pet snakes or pet tigers. That would be exotic.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
You're in the wrong for having exotic pets. So no.
yeah, like these people are like, oh, I tried to domesticate and I tried to make this tiger my pet. Why did my tiger bite me? And I'm bleeding like
Bro,
they're not intended to be pets.
do you hear yourself right now?
Okay, so next question. This person asks, if I want to start to be a VTuber, what advice can you give me?
You can just roll back to the earlier parts of the video. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
No, honestly, I do agree. I think I've already mentioned a lot of stuff. But if there's like, because if you're gonna ask about being a VTuber, it really depends. But the most general advice I could give is number one, know why you want to be a VTuber first. Like, what is your goal of being a VTuber? Is it money? Is it the fame? Is it to share your stuff with the world? I'm of the opinion that no, how do I say this? There is no wrong primary motivation to become a VTuber. Nothing wrong with wanting to get money or wanting to become famous. But I would just say that, how do I say this? Just don't hurt other people, I suppose. But before you start becoming a VTuber, it's like number one, know your priority or like your main goal as a VTuber. And number two, once you figure out what your goal is or like your primary motivation as a VTuber, know what you want to do, like your content. Do you want to be like Kopo like VTuber with like this lore or like this idol style or like this cool ikemen guy style, or do you want to use your OC? Do you want to just use, I don't know, do you just want to isekai yourself into VTuber form? Yeah, that kind of thing. So it's just really know what you want to do, know why you want to be a VTuber, that's all. And then from there you could like build yourself up and like discover the process for yourself. And also like people in the community, if you see someone who shares some advice about like VTuber stuff, there's a lot of people who share this advice on social media, so I'm pretty sure that there's not a shortage of opinions there. And then I already touched on a lot of stuff. We touched on a lot of stuff earlier in this episode. So you could just backtrack. I'm sure you picked like one or two things there.
And again, you don't have to start big. You can start small.
Exactly.
What you have. Okay. So the next question: why are there some VTubers that doesn't want to reveal themselves IRL?
Okay, this is a bit of a silly question because like a lot of people on the internet don't want to reveal themselves IRL. Doesn't even have to be VTuber, right?
Yes.
And I feel like, especially for our generation, like in school, right, we were taught not to share our personal information online. Do they still do that with the kids now? Or I don't know, maybe it's like more normalized because of like all the social media
It's more
apps?
normalized. It's more normalized.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I think I remember back then they always say like always use like a screen name or like avoid like sharing your age and stuff like that. Especially like as kids, like when you're younger, because that kind of stuff makes you vulnerable, and like the internet is a scary place. There's a lot of good people out there, but honestly, we are all strangers to each other unless we get to meet ourselves properly in the real world. And I would say like not just okay, I jumpa this person. No. Like, if you kind of decide, or like if you click with someone enough to become friends with them offline, regardless of whether you know about the online identity or whatever. So I'd say that it's the same question that some random guy in a forum would use serious person as their username, but never even say what state they're from or even admit that they're from Malaysia. That kind of thing. But when it comes to VTuber, I think part of the appeal of being a VTuber to many people was when they saw the standard of corporate VTubers not revealing anything about their actual like identity. I would actually say that this question I think might be more this might actually be more related to this thing called kayfabe. Like these people trying to play off that no immersion break stuff like that. I think rather than asking why, although I'm also the kind of person who likes to know why and how of everything, it's first important to respect that okay, if they don't want to share anything about their personal life, they shouldn't ever be forced to do so. It's their choice. Like just because another VTuber is fine with sharing that, just because a person, for example, is used to me talking about like my actual work, doesn't mean that other VTubers have to do the same thing. But as for actual reasons,
People
right?
in the back. Sorry, yes. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I would say like when it comes to actual reasons that I could think of, number one is their family might not approve of them becoming a VTuber. So it's like they have to keep this activity secret from others. Like in my case, I would say that at least my mom knows that I do streaming, but she doesn't know that it's VTubing thing. It's funny because she keeps thinking, "Oh, are you doing like those like medical vlogger thing?" I'm like, I don't even know how to answer her.
Day in the life of a doctor.
It's like, it's like I want to be on the. I know. I kind of say this quite often to other people, but I just want to be on the. When I'm on the internet, I just want to be Budu. I don't want to like think of like my profession or like the expectation that comes with it. So that's number one. Some people might have families that are not supportive of the activity. Number two is maybe they're actually hiding from stalker. I mean, like in my case, I have this experience before where Punyulada is actually like not definitely my first artist name, but it is the first name I used when I stream. Then I used many other artist names after that, then came back to Punyulada. Because like for me in a way, it was like me saying I am done from hiding from these people following me around. I don't care if they find me at this point. I'm not going to uproot all my progress, erase my account just because someone from my someone who is troubling me in IRL suddenly finds my online account kind of thing. But there are people whose stalkers are very dangerous people. So of course these people would rather, but it's like tell these people stuff like, oh, just don't use the internet or don't post anything publicly. It's like it doesn't work that way, because people want to engage with their fandom. People want to share their art or their song. They don't have to identify themselves. Like, we have to, at least respect that these people make safe space for themselves. Number 3 is also some people are just more private people. Like, I share a lot about my work, and some of you guys are candid about stuff there. Some aspect of your life. But I think most of us, especially as content creator, will not share 100%, not even like 95% or 90%. Even the people who are flesh tuber, even the people who are sharing their face, like, okay, fine, you could know their name or the state where they live or whatever, but you won't ever know much about their personal life. Another reason I could think that people don't want to reveal themselves is they want to commit to the character bit. And even if that is not for me, like, I'm not a person who cares to like keep the kayfabe kind of thing, like Punya, like, oh, I am a fairy VTuber made of bread. Like, for example, if like someone becomes like Roti Canai fairy VTuber, and like all this stuff is going to be like, oh, I'm going to fairyland with my family, my other Roti Canai brothers and sisters. Like, it's like if they want to do that, just let them have fun with the role play, right? Because like it's also a way of expressing themselves. Maybe they just want to have experience of acting as the character, and they just don't want to bring their real life into it, because like that's not their style. So the long and short of this is there's many reasons why people want privacy, but we have to respect it regardless, and do not expect other VTubers to share information just because some VTubers that you watch actually share information. And another thing, number 5, maybe that person works for like the government. Maybe they have like a very sensitive kind of job, Punya. Like, if people find out that they're a VTuber, it might be a big problem. Yeah, that's like one thing that I consider also.
Yes. And also one more thing, AI has been growing a lot recently, especially if you guys know Sora.
Oh my god, yeah, I mean, I feel like this is safe enough for me to say that I'm sorry, it still looks terrible. Like, it is not only soulless, it makes me dizzy. It triggers my motion sickness.
Yes, but the fact that people can just take any sources online and then make it into a different thing. There's a lot of cases where influencers or content creators that show their face have their photos edited into something that is not safe for work. So that might be one of the reasons as well where some people doesn't want to share themselves IRL on the internet.
Exactly. And even before this AI stuff, I actually had this experience before where I had this friend who, she had a photo with this I know that this guy was kind of like popular in their school. We were not in the same school, but she just told me the story. It's like a class photo some more. And they were not even anywhere close to each other, but someone did the Photoshop job where they were holding hands. Like, and I think this was like 7 years ago. So I'm just saying that even when technology was still more, it was more limiting, people were already doing this stuff. People will be malicious and use photos in a not good way. And all those scams where people try to hire like models and they say, oh, we only need a photo of your face. Like, huh? What for? Like, I thought you're getting me as a model, at least like get like half body shot, that kind of stuff. And then you find out that they use it for some kind of scam.
Yes.
It's very scary. And as a person who's like, I would say that on my IRL social media when I still use them, which that's actually a funny thing. I barely use those now, but like I just get terrified seeing all these people sharing photos of their babies. Like from the moment they're born, I'm like, oh my god, their kids have no more privacy. I'm like, I get really proud and want to share your baby with the world, but it's like I'm kind of lucky. I guess we're kind of lucky that we were born in a year where like our parents didn't have the access to like this Facebook punya like social medias where they could actually show our like baby photos when we were actually babies, right? Like,
Yes. Not only the pictures, some parents even put their child's full name. And even just from name, people can figure out where you live. You know,
Yeah.
especially for the adults, and they have LinkedIn profile,
Yeah,
for
yes.
example. They can
that's
just search
cool.
your full name and figure out where you live, where you work at,
you
you know, where you studied before.
Your
Yeah,
email, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah,
God.
even like email. And you know, the thing that grinds my gears the most are the people who post their IC without any sensor. I'm like,
Oh,
my
yes,
Lord.
yes.
I'm like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? Like, you know, at least some people have the sense to censor the IC number, but there are some people, they just post it with no censor at all. I'm like, are you sure about this? And it's a public post on Facebook some more. Really?
Yes. Also, like, even I think nowadays people can even be like so smart about it. Like, let's say you expose your full true birthday, and then you expose where you were born. So let's say you were born somewhere in Kedah. Kedah IC in the middle is 02, right? And then they
Yeah.
already exposed their full birthday, including the year. So they
Yeah.
just need to figure out what the rest 4 numbers of your IC. It's just 4
Yeah,
numbers. They can just try and type every single number they can. Especially if they know the genders. They know the last
Yeah.
number already.
Just ending
They
number.
could just brute force the IC practically. It's so scary.
Yes. So like, do be careful when sharing information online. It's okay if you want to reveal yourself IRL, even though you're a VTuber, but just be more careful about it.
Yeah, it's just more of like, you know, having the discretion where it's like, yeah, I do share my face a lot, but you know, it's just my face, and like it is normally obscured to a degree.
Mhm.
Even if it is sometimes just looking like person sticking tongue out emoji. Yes, I've actually got that comment before where it's like, oh my god, you literally look like this emoji IRL, and I'm like, thank you, that was the goal. but okay, here's the thing
Oh my
also with like these IDs, right? I
Mhm.
recently had this experience where my wallet was just stolen from me.
Oh my god.
And you know, like the only thing that I'm thankful for is my passport and my IC were not there. I would have been dead if both my IC and passport were inside. But you know,
Yes.
it's like the scary part about that is my licenses to practice as a medical professional were in my wallet. I was like, aduh. And the reason I bring this up is it's not only IC, but you know, there are these people, the moment they get the license from like, you know, the medical council, they post the ID. Like,
Yeah.
I know you're proud that you're finally like, you're a medical officer, but please don't do this ever.
Yes. Oh my god. People are just too comfortable about sharing private stuff nowadays.
Yeah, like, you know, it was funny when people would just like share these like free Steam, the people will share the actual code of the Steam gift card, but no, this is scary. At least that one is like, hey, free game. And like, okay, you're kind of like cheeky and questionable for actually trying to redeem the Steam wallet code, but at least, you know, there's something you could replace. But like, identity theft is very scary.
Yes.
Like, you know, especially with all the scams in like that we receive on like text or like WhatsApp. Like, I guess like, every day I get like this one person telling me about like, oh, job opportunity reviewing product for Shopee, Lazada. I'm like, no.
Yes. Yeah, there's so many reasons why people doesn't want to reveal themselves, and be careful if you do.
Exactly. Practice good social media hygiene, guys.
Social media, yes, that's right. Alright, so moving on to the next question. Does VTuber career can be a full-time job? I think we covered a lot of this already.
That's true. I would say, you know, I'm not a person who minces words. I will say you have to be very special to make VTubing your full-time job. I'm not discouraging anyone, but for most of us, it's most prudent to keep it as, you know, as a hobby that you could spend within your disposable income. Or, you know, like if you want to actually try to monetize your VTuber stuff, don't expect too much. Especially, you know, like YouTube partnership stuff, where it's like Twitch affiliate is already kind of challenging enough if you know no one in the community to help you. because I've seen other, and that's also I guess part of the reason why I did like my support activities. I see this Malaysian VTuber trying to get Twitch affiliate for 5-6 years already, and I feel so bad. So that's why I try to like at least try to get people to like, hey guys, please help, like at least look with this person's stream, because like if I know that they've been trying for so hard already, just to help them actually get the affiliate. And I'm gonna let you guys know, especially the ones who have never tried being VTuber before. Most people who get Twitch affiliate, we honestly just get it for like channel points and emotes, really. Like not really too much of expectation of payout. And like YouTube, they did reduce the amount of subs required, right? Like 500 instead of 1,000. But still, it's like very challenging to actually get it. And it's like I don't want to disappoint anyone, because like it's almost like with any other career or profession, only like the 1% or like the top something percent like actually could make it a full-time job. Like there's a reason why even corporate VTubers, like they would talk about their day job, or like it would take them 1 year, 2 years of streaming as corporate VTuber before they say, I finally quit my job. And like it's like a big accomplishment for them, because being in a corporate agency doesn't immediately guarantee that you could quit your actual job. Like it's kind of also, I wouldn't say recommended, but I would say that there's a reason why these companies do not hire you as full-time. Like they tell you in the contract, usually it's like you need to produce content regularly. They don't say, oh, you could quit your job because you have like because we could actually pay you enough. So yeah, it's like if you really want to make VTubing your career, only try to work towards making it your full-time career as like a stretch goal. But like you immediately get into VTubing and you're like, oh, I want to make this a full-time thing. Just like with everything else I said earlier, it's best for you to like experience it yourself and see if you could actually handle it first. Like, could you maintain the quality, the consistency, and all that before you actually say, okay, I'm gonna make this a full-time career. But yeah, part-time career, or like trying to at least get some payout every now and then, it's not impossible. I would say it's not that hard, but it does require you to at least be persistent. Like if you're the kind who's like, you want to expect that in 3 months you already get like your first payout, nah, it doesn't happen to like majority of VTuber.
Yes.
All right. Next question. If Punyu were to flop, would you give VTubing another shot? Or if Punyu were to somehow blow up, who is or are the people that you would think or appreciate?
When it comes to flopping, I think of flopping like a fish. And when I think of like blowing up, I think of meletup. And I've already made the Punyu meletup joke before. But in all seriousness, I feel like the main thing that makes me kind of different with my approach to VTubing to many people is I don't really consider Punyulada is like my artist name. So I would say that before being a VTuber, I'm an artist first and foremost. So flopping or like blowing up isn't really like something I consider. Like I'm already happy enough to have reached the point where people actually buy my comic and doujin. Like it's already great enough for me that people are interested in my work, and even more flattering that people actually buy your work or like try to order commission or get on your wait list. But when it comes to VTubing, it's something that I don't talk about, not because I distance myself from my previous VTuber identities or whatever, but how do I say, not getting successful as like a certain VTuber was like never like a deterrent to me to continue, because like for me the entire point of VTubing is for me to creatively express myself in a way that I can't if I just like stayed as like just streaming my art without any model or like doing like face cam. Like okay, sure, face cam stream you could do like cosplay, right? But there's stuff that you could only do with a model. And I think that's the beauty of it. And when it comes to like, that's why I don't think about flopping. And I've also told people who watch me about this, or anyone who asks me about this directly, I actually would rather not blow up. I think I'm not going to the point of actually running away from my account if that happens. But I know that in my mind, I was already thinking, okay, if I get like 1,000 followers or something on Twitter, I'm going to like run away and just, not just gonna like move to another account or something. Because like I don't, in spite of how much I like to share, I consider myself like pretty private person also, and I don't really like having too many people like watching me also. But when it comes to like blowing up, it's more like I have turned down certain opportunities that I've been given because like for me, VTubing is not like my primary consideration. So it's more of like, if I flop, it's okay. As long as I enjoy what I'm doing. If I blow up, please, I rather not blow up. That kind of thing. But it's like, I guess that's also why I want to focus on like highlighting other people. Because like even with my other stuff that I do offline, I'm always the kind of person who wants to bring attention to other people who are trying their best. And part of the reason I started supporting in the first place was, I felt like, oh my god, I have like, it's in the grand scheme of things, or in the VTuber community, it is still a small-ish account. Like if you look at everyone as a whole. But I would say, okay, I do have like over 1,000 people following me on Twitter. So if I could use these followers to at least like bring attention to people whose content I actually enjoy, or like I check this local VTuber out and I see that there's something I could say nice about the content and promote it to people, I might as well use it for that purpose. So the long and short of it is like, I don't really consider like my activities as Punyulada as like to flop or like to blow up. It's just like, I just want to have fun, that's it.
Dang, it sounds like crazy how some people don't get the idea of not wanting to blow up. I have it was like a while back, someone asked me like, why are you doing VTubing? And then I'm like, oh, I'm just doing this for fun. And they're like, doing this for fun? You're crazy. And I'm like, well,
what?
Yeah, sounds.
And
just can't grasp the basic of that. If you don't know what you're doing, you're probably not going to be able to do it for long anyway. So like,
exactly, like especially the people who entered VTubing because it was like a fad or something. Like if people think of it purely in terms of numbers or like success, VTuber market is already like very saturated. So you have to be very unique, very special, very talented, and very well connected to actually make it. But another thing, I guess, is like, I think also with this younger generation, because they're too used to having social media everywhere, they kind of feel like people who make content do it to become famous. But it's like, if you remember the early days of YouTube and Nico Doga, right? It's like people just make this stuff to have fun. They just upload the videos there, and it's like even when I started streaming, it's just because I want to show my art process to my friends and like lepak with them. It's still the same now. I just want to lepak with people. That's it. But I don't feel, because here's the thing. I always compare it to like a mamak. Like if you have like 5 people speaking with you in a mamak, it's like you could still follow the conversation. If you have like 15 people in a group and you're all in a mamak together, it's a bit hard to follow all the convo, but I guess you could like move between the tables to like at least say hi and give pleasantries to them. But if the entire mamak is just you and your entire entourage, could you even actually entertain all of them, right? Yeah, so that's just the way that I think of it. Like when people think too much about the numbers, or like that the VTubing needs to have like a tangible number goal, or like a money goal, or like a milestone goal, I think that's when people get disappointed and get discouraged, and they decide to just quit. But if people are just doing it and the main motivation is for fun, and okay, if I get some money out of it, that's nice. If I get some notoriety out of it, that's nice. Those are the people who manage to stay VTubing for a long time. That's why those, even in those corporate agency, you have these VTubers who stick with the corporate agency for many years. Even if they don't have many subs or whatever, because you could normally see it from the content, they're having fun. And it's usually the ones with more avant-garde content who do this thing. So yeah.
Very good answer from Punyu.
Yes, too good to the point that I don't have anything to add.
Oh, oops. Sorry.
No, it's
No,
okay.
it's
It's
like-
okay. It's good. It's good.
I'm just kind of passionate about that particular thing because a lot of people ask me about it. I'm like,
All right, let me just open up my book here. I have all these answers listed. Here you go, boys.
Yes. Oh my god. Alright. Okay. Last question. So, Punyo, I think this is supposed to be a first question, but I put it last. But what inspires you to become a VTuber?
Oh, okay. I think I already answered a lot of that before.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to summarize it in one sentence.
Mhm.
It's a way for me to creatively express myself. That's literally just it. It's like another medium of expression. That's it.
Mhm. Yes. Okay. And that wraps it up for the Q&A session for tonight's episode. I hope we managed to get all the answers that you guys have been wanting to know about our dear Punyu here.
As per usual, we will put up a link to the question forms for our next episode later on Twitter once we announce our next guest. So, do keep an eye out for the announcements.
Yes.
And finally, we have reached the end of tonight's episode of Mizu. How does it feel to be invited as a guest here, Punyu?
I'm just laughing because I think I already said this before.
Yes,
I'm
you did.
genuinely a
Way
fan.
earlier at the start of the...
I'm genuinely a fan of the radio show, so I would say that I was very excited but also nervous. But being able to speak with both of you, Axel and Syazu, I really, really enjoyed, and it was nice getting to know more about you guys. And it's like, when you're a fan of something and you get invited to it, of course you're over the moon. So just imagine me inside just like bouncing, like yay.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for enjoying this, Mizuraji.
And I'll continue to listen to even like the future episodes because I'm really excited to see who else you guys are going to interview.
Let's go. So yeah, thanks again, Punyu, for willing to come here and talk about your experience, your dreams, your past, and your plans and everything. It was nice talking to you. I wish we can talk more, but this is the longest episode.
Yes, it's already 2 hours. Crazy.
Oh boy, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I think maybe we can invite you for another more episode, like in the future, maybe, or we can just just hang out in Discord and talk.
Yeah. It would be nice, yeah. But it's like how do I say this? It was great to be able to finally speak with you guys, and thank you for being very wonderful host who could even bounce off my random tangents. That is a testament to how well you guys are doing this thing, and I know that in the future, I think that you guys would be able to like even have how do I say this? You guys could take this even to like your future episodes also, like maybe you get another guest who likes talking a lot and it becomes practice as well.
Yes, that would be nice.
Well, the funny part is that both of us are introverts. That's crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, honestly, I'm an introvert too. I'm just a very talkative one. If people meet, like especially in event like when they jumpa me, they suddenly realize, oh my god, you're so introverted. You sound the same, but you're just more shy. In real life, I'm like, yeah.
Yes. Well, that's the beauty of internet and digital. We can talk more comfortably. Yeah, alright. So with this, episode 4 of Mizuraji has come to its end. I hope everyone enjoys this episode and managed to learn more about Punyu. Don't wait any longer, guys. Go and follow Punyu on every single platform now. The link is down there in the description.
And while you're at it, don't forget to check us hosts out as well. All links will be provided in the description box down below. Well then, we'll see you guys next month.
One is saying Zalata.
And one is a guppy. Thank you for watching.
Mizu no Naka Radio. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.